Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are thrilled to have you join us for our webinar, Data Analytics for PIC MultiValue, How to Get Access to the Data That You Need. Thanks to Zumasys for having us and all of you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Courtney Kibitza, and I am on the marketing team here at Phocas. And so I'm the Partner Marketing Manager, and joining me today as well is Becky Cravens-Waite, who's the Software Development Manager for Zumasys, and JohnSepton, who is one of our expert solutions consultants at Phocas, and he'll be showing you a demo and overview of Phocas Analytics today. A quick overview of today's session. First, we're going to talk a little bit about Phocas and who we are. It's going to last about 45 minutes to an hour in total, and we'll show you how data analytics for PIC MultiValue can help you grow your business and expand. We'll have a short demo and then Q&A at the end. Throughout the session, if you have questions, you can go ahead and enter those in the chat on the right-hand side of your screen in that GoToWebinar panel. We'd be happy to answer those at the end of the presentation. So here at Phocas, our mission is simple. We believe in making people feel good about their data. Our founders have prioritized the business all around people. So people buying from people, people being supported by people, having software that is built for people that they can actually use. We really believe in bringing people and data together so they can make better data-driven decisions for their business. Our business has strong values of fun, fulfilling, and forever. And our customers and our partners, they interpret that in their own special way as well. We're a growth-oriented company with over 20 years of experience. We serve more than 30,000 users and 1,700 companies. We truly believe in empowering our users to make decisions and know what's going on in their business. And in doing so, we make everybody feel confident, successful, and look good in the workplace. We do all of this by making our software incredibly easy to use. The solutions enable all users across the organization, so not just the very technical ones, with the ability to make very quick and efficient decisions. At Phocas, we create pre-built solutions for all areas of the organization, so sales, operations, finance, and marketing. And from day one, users can get tracking and reporting on essential KPIs and metrics for their business. The DIY analytics solution makes it easy for anyone to drill down, slice and dice, customize, modify, and build reports and even create dashboards with all of the data they have in hand. We offer a best-in-class data analytics solution. It's our core focus being manufacturing, distribution, construction, retail, and field service management. We partner with technology businesses to help them buy, sell, service, and operate better. Lastly, we're very excited about our 96% retention rate and the analyst and user reviewed ratings that we receive. I'll show you just a couple of them, just to name a few. My most favorite is the BARC BI survey. This survey is the largest and most well-regarded survey in the world when it comes to BI software. And Phocas has outranked many of the big brands, taking lead in 34 categories, including things like customer satisfaction, business benefits, ease of use, and 100% of our customers have recommended Phocas. So it's great to be able to be included on all of these for the industry recognition and to see our users using and loving Phocas. Most notably, we actually won top dashboard software by Gartner's Software Advice Frontrunners report. So you can see on the grid there, we're all the way up at the top, and kind of an outlier, but in this case, being an outlier is good. And again, it comes down to that ease of use and customer satisfaction. And so I think really the point of all of this is that what makes Phocas unique is that we do data visualizations and decision enablement very well. And when it's a powerful combination like that together, we're able to take complex information and make it easy for anyone to consume and use. And that's why a lot of the users have rated us in that way. So how can data analytics help your business specifically? I think we can all agree that the goal of BI is to make better decisions and more informed decisions to guide the business more quickly. The important part for this is how a decision is being made, who's making them, how quickly is it happening, is the data accessible, is it ready to use in the moment? And so I think that's really one of the key things that we want to drive to every business. I won't read all of the points here. They all really tie back well to my favorite one at the end, which says by the Harvard Business Review that 87% of executives say their organization will be more successful when frontline workers are empowered to make important decisions in the moment. And so that really ties back to the top points. And with all of the recent changes in the economy from everything going on this year, it's more important than ever to rely on a broader base of users across the business to help make those decisions, to adapt, to survive, to thrive, and really be informed on what's happening. So we think about your business specifically, and I think, what could I do if we could make better decisions, if everyone in the business had access to the same data at the same time to base their decisions on? If I could easily monitor KPIs, grow my sales, gain a competitive advantage across the organization. All of that is possible when every level of the business, every department, executive, manager, all the way down to the individual, has access to that same data and can use it very quickly and easily. The ultimate goal in the end is really more people, one single view of the truth, making better data-driven decisions. So now that we've talked a little bit about how data analytics can help your business, I'm going to hand it over to JohnSepton, who will help to bring this story to life.
All right, trying to share my screen. I think you have to unshare yours. Thank you. Okay, hi everyone, my name's JohnSepton. Pleasure to be showing Phocas to everyone today. I've been with Phocas for 7 years. Actually was in love with the Phocas software. That's why I came to work here. I used to work on a PIC system back in I worked for electrical distribution, and I'm a big fan of Phocas, and I've been here for 7 years, where I started off implementing customers for several years. So I've implemented hundreds of people on Phocas, and I've implemented across a variety of different types of systems. It could be cloud-based systems, it might be SQL-based systems, maybe you have a Unix system kicking out files. My favorite customers to implement are on PIC systems. They've been around a while, and that's because they do a really good job at what they were designed to do. But a frustration point can be it's difficult to get to data sometimes. So by providing Phocas to these people, it really revolutionizes their organizations, where it extends the life of their ERP, and it fills a big gap in what I see a lot of PIC-based systems their users are experiencing. So, working with Zumasys is been excellent, because essentially I can work with the customer to understand their business. Are they a distributor? Do they do field service? Are they a manufacturer? And we start to understand the parts of their business that we want to analyze and report on. And through that exercise, we identify the data we need, and working with Zumasys to get that data out has been just a great experience. So I'm super excited to be working with PIC customers, especially now that with Zumasys, getting data is easy. And that's the first step, right, is getting that data out of your system and into Phocas. So working with Zumasys, we're going to identify the parts of your business that you want to analyze. So the environment I have up on my screen is a very typical distributor environment that we would do at Phocas. And as you can see here, the software itself is running in a web browser. So there's no software to install. It's a cloud-based platform where we host a website for you, and that's where your data is sent to. And that data is going to be refreshed on a schedule. By default, we refresh all the data nightly, but there might be portions of your business you want to update more frequently, and you certainly can. So we have control over what data and how often we're updating that data. We're not limited to just PIC-based systems, though. Phocas is an open platform. So we normally will start with a customer's ERP, but then move over to other areas, maybe CRM or payroll or phone systems. Really, any data source can be brought into Phocas, and it's no extra charge. It's just part of the service you get with Phocas. Now, when users log into Phocas, they're going to go through 2 layers of security. One of them is a profile that dictates what a user can and can't do. And the second one is my favorite one. It's a powerful one. I can set up at the user level what data they can see. So when a user logs in, I can say, hey, when they go into that sales database, I only want them to see their accounts. Or maybe I only want them to see their territory. And what's nice about this is that all users are going to be able to view the same reports, view the same dashboards, but they're going to get their view of it. But we're all looking at the same data, so we start to get a single source of truth. Everybody's looking at the same KPIs. We're all working off the same playbook. So the content I have up on my screen is made up of 4 parts: alerts, databases, dashboards, and favorites. And all of these, we're going to create the content that you'll get right out of the box day one, but through implementation, you'll be trained to create this content on your own. It's designed for business users, so you don't have to be extremely technical to work with Phocas, and that's on purpose. We've designed this to make it easy to work with your data. So creating an alert, a database, a dashboard, you're going to be able to do that all on your own, no extra charge, no add-on fees. And if you ever need help, Zumasys and Phocas will be waiting to assist with whatever you need. Now, a big part of BI these days is dashboards. And there's 2 really good reasons why dashboards are popular. One is that it allows me to combine different parts of my business on a single screen. So on my executive dashboard, for example, I have AP, AR, inventory, purchasing, and sales. So I have all those areas of my business on that dashboard because these are the areas that I'm responsible for. Again, we're going to build some dashboards for you. You'll get them right day one during implementation, but we're going to encourage you and train you to build them on your own. So if I go into my dashboard here, a great thing about the dashboards is that digesting visual graphs you can do it much quicker than a grid, like an Excel sheet of numbers. So I'm able to process this information much quicker, where I can see sales trends. This is a big thing these days with our changing businesses in this day and age. We want to know how we're doing this year versus last year and spot trends. We can see our product categories, year over year growth, and same with customers. These gauges are very popular these days because what we're doing is we're comparing 2 periods of time, the current period to the previous year period, to see what's changing. As I scroll down, I'm going to get some high-level sales information, sales trends, and then I get down to some of my operational information where I can see what type of material are we shipping. Is it stock or non-stock? How well are we doing with servicing our customers? Are we meeting our delivery dates? And how are our customers doing with returns? Now, all of this is on this screen because this is what's important to me. What's nice about our dashboards is that they're interactive. So I can do ad hoc reporting right from here. So maybe I want to look at Lumination. So I'll select my Lumination product line and click Focus, and the whole dashboard is going to update based on that selection. So I can strategically place widgets that allow me to filter maybe by branch or product category or supplier. So a lot of ad hoc reporting happens here, but anytime I want to know more, I have the ability to drill in deeper. And that's where it's my favorite part of Phocas is to any one of these widgets is essentially a visual report where if I want to know the underlying information behind that report, I'm going to use this Analyze button. And that launches me out of my dashboard. If I go back to my home screen by clicking Focus, what I did is I left my executive dashboard and wound up in my sales database. Now, these databases can be based off of a number of things. It could be sales, purchasing, inventory, production, field service. It's all based off a set of data from a source system. And using a tool called Database Designer, I build this database with these dimensions that map to data points in your system. Very customizable, these buttons on the left. And it's the first thing end users typically are going to use. Right now, I'm looking at invoices, but I have a number of streams of data in this database that allow me to compare streams. So I might want to compare open orders to on-hand inventory, or I might want to compare sales invoices or my actual revenue against a budget. So if you're ever exporting data to Excel, merging it with another set of data in Excel as a report, this is going to allow you to automate that. So we're going to have those pieces of data that you want to mash together, like open sales and on-hand inventory. We're going to be able to do that right within the tool, and it's right there waiting for you. So you don't have to go through that export process. I'm looking at 12 months of data right now, but date ranges are extremely flexible. So if I want to look at days, weeks, quarters, fiscal periods, months, lots of flexibility there. Right now I'm looking at sales dollars, but I could be looking at quantities or profit or margins. I have some service metrics to see if we're delivering on time or in full, and percentages to see how well we're servicing our customers. So not only can I see if we're growing our business, but I can also see how well we're servicing our customers. Okay, now for the dimensions. I come in here, I'm going to click on customer, and I'm going to see sales by period by customer. And I can see the same view across any of my dimensions. So I want to see sales by product, or product category, or warehouse. Maybe I want to just focus in on my main warehouse. So I'm going to select main, click focus. And then I'm going to click on customer. Now I'm seeing all the customers that did business out of our main branch. And if I want to know if these customers are growing or if they're declining. So I can use my mode button to switch to variance mode. So I can see all the customers out of branch main, how they're doing this year versus last year. And I can sort here. So I can see Carnegie Rental up 115,000 year over year. That's great. If I sort again, I can see my decliners. And I can see Olympus Steel's down $48,000. If I click on that customer and focus, I can come to product category and see what product lines are affected by this customer's decline. Now, hopefully it's becoming apparent to you that I can use any combination of dimensions. So let me give you another example. Let's look at our sales reps. And I want to evaluate my sales reps to see how they're not only are they doing in top line sales, but also profit and margin. So I'm going to turn those measures on. Now I can see those three columns, and I can see it broken out for the whole year. And I'm going to change it to total mode. I don't want to see it broken out by month. So now I'm seeing my sales reps, and I'm starting to see the power of margin. So right here, it's less than a tenth of a percent off, and $169,000 difference in sales, but they're really, really close in profit. So just the smallest bit of margin makes a difference. So when I'm implementing customers, I always recommend evaluate your sales reps with Phocas. Let them see the information from themselves, and it's kind of eye-opening. Now, let's take a look at Judy. She's our top sales rep, so I'm going to focus on Judy. And then I'm going to go to customer, and I'm going to see Judy's accounts. And I can see quite a bit of information here. Now, right at my fingertips, I have a customer scorecard. So if I want to get, maybe I'm a sales rep out in the field, I'm in the parking lot about to walk in and visit a customer, I can pull this up on my iPhone, pull up my customer scorecard, and get all kinds of relevant information about that customer So I can walk in prepared with information and make it a very productive meeting. The greatest thing about Phocas, in my opinion, I guess because I implement it, is that all of these numbers are easy to tie back to the source system. Any number that I see, I can right-click on it and go to transactions, and it's going to show me all the invoices to this customer in November that made up that total. So I can always get to the underlying data that ties it back to my system. When I'm working with customers, one of the big things that I try to do is help them get an immediate ROI with Phocas. We want to find an ROI that pays for Phocas for years. So what I like to do is I like to do some cross-selling analysis. Are customers buying across all of our product lines? So I'll always do this during implementation. I'll select product category and then matrix it, which pivots my rows into columns. Now, if I came back to customer, I'm going to get an idea who's buying some of my product lines, but not all. So finding a few opportunities like this and getting quick wins using Phocas, I've seen it time and time again. It'll pay for the software for years on end. This database here is also where I do my visualization. So I just want to show it to you all so you can see how easy it is to build dashboards. So my cursor up in the top right corner, I'm going to select the chart icon, and then I have a number of different options of how I can create different visualizations. I know when I'm on my summary button and I do the line chart, does a really nice year-over-year trend line. As I move down to my dimensions, my widgets start to act a little bit differently and gives me different options. And I can add this right to a dashboard. Now, we're not just limited to sales, though. We typically are going to bring in multiple parts of your business: sales, purchasing, inventory, AR, AP, and finance. And I'm going to show you finance here in just a little bit. But let's jump into our inventory database and show off our streams a little bit. So streams are those separate sets of data. So I have my on-hand inventory, I have shipped material invoice information, I have open sales orders and open POs, all available to me to mix and match however I want. So I can do something like this. I can come to product, switch to quantity, and now I want to do and I'm going to do it for the current month or previous month. And I'm going to do stream mode. So now I can compare my on-hand inventory to my open sales orders. And I can see things like this. I have an open sales order for 1,638, but I only have 469 in stock. So I'm short that item. And in fact, I want to know all items that I'm short. So I'm going to right-click and select open sales delta greater than, less than 0. So now I have a list of items that right now I can't currently fill. And I can take it a step further and bring in open POs to see if I have replenishment coming. And I can see right away, this one, I have a PO coming in. So I should be pretty good when that material arrives. Now, once I create a view like this, and this is a really basic one, but once you create a view that you like, you have the ability to, 1, I can export it to Excel. 2, I can share it with other users as a favorite. So if I put it in a folder, any users that have access to this folder will automatically get this favorite. And if they have a user restriction in place where they can only see their branch or their territory, the report will automatically filter when the user views it. So I can send this out to all my warehouse managers if I have multiple branches, and they're going to get their very specific view. So I will save this favorite, And if I click the Phocas logo, it's going to go back to my home screen, and I can look at my favorites here, and you can see my stock fill analysis that I just created. Now, with these subscriptions, or excuse me, with these favorites, I can subscribe to it. So if I click on the little envelope over here to the right, I have the option to specify the file type I'd like to receive and how often I'd like to receive it. So I can automate report distribution with Phocas. Very similar to a favorite in the way that I just saved it and created it are alerts. And alerts are very similar to a favorite when I subscribe to them, except for an alert isn't scheduled. An alert is when it meets a certain set of criteria. So if you have a late order or a stock out or a large inventory adjustment or an order with low margin, you can set up alerts for all these different conditions that when they happen, you want to be notified about it. So favorites are scheduled report delivery. Alerts are proactive notifications. All right. So what I just showed you here is what we call our core analytics package. The next thing that I want to show you is our financial statements product. And essentially, it's a bolt-on to your existing analytics. And here I've created a dashboard. This is all based off general ledger information, journal postings. So I can see gross profit versus budget, EBITDA versus budget. I have inventory ledger and AP and AR ledger balances. And remember, everything's interactive. So if I want to look at just my US business, I could select this part of my pie chart, click Phocas, and the whole thing's going to update. As I scroll down, I can start to get information about my general ledger, fixed asset information. And down below, you're going to get a sneak peek of our income statement. It's part of our financial statement packages that we can create income statements and P&Ls, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. All right, so now I'm going to use that Analyze button, and I'm going to launch out of my dashboard and into the analysis database. I'm going to go ahead and reset, and I'm just going to start from scratch. There we go. All right, so the backbone of this database are postings to the general ledger. So it's based off transactional data. And at its core, I'm going to be able to use it just like I was using it in the sales or inventory database, where on the account dimension, I'm seeing journal postings by account, by period. And I can slice and dice this using my dimensions just like I did in my sales database. Maybe, example, for country, I have 3 locations in one environment. So by default, it's consolidated, it's all together. But if I wanted to just look at the US, I could focus on it, come back to account, and now I'm just looking at journal postings from the US, where I can do the analysis, maybe variance mode, where I'm looking this year versus last year to see what's changing in my business. The financial statements component of this comes into play when I'm on my summary button. And then you'll notice my modes up here. I've created several different financial statements in this environment. So the base statements that we offer, P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, and trial balance. But I can create multiple versions of a P&L or multiple versions of a balance sheet, depending on who my audience is. So maybe one's for my branch managers, another one's for my executives. They're going to be slightly different, and I have the ability to create multiple versions of these. It's all done with using our statements tool, which I'm going to show you in a moment. And the statements tool allows me to create and edit those financial statements And it's something that we're going to use during implementation to, one, create categories. So things like revenue, expenses, everything we have, all the groups that we want on the front of our P&L. So here, these categories are these right here. And using my statements tool, I'm going to create these categories, and then I'm going to assign them to account. So I create the operating expense category, and it's going to end up like this, where now when I focused on my operating expenses, I see all the correct accounts. So let's jump into the statements tool to see exactly how I do that. All right, so here's all the statements that you saw under the mode button, and I could create a new one, or I can edit an existing one. And from this screen, it's a form builder where I can change the order, I can rename them, and I can create new categories and groups, as well as these calculations, which you'll notice are using variables from the different groups. The whole intention of this screen was it was meant to be easy for accountants, CFOs, controllers to do this. This used to be a very technical task that would take me days to create these groups and assign accounts to it. Certainly wasn't something that an accountant would do. So now that I've created the layout that I want by creating my groups and calculations and placing it where I want, I'm now going to move to my accounts tab here, where I'm going to find my chart of accounts. And I'm able to very easily search by code. I can search by name. I can search through a range of accounts. And my goal is to select an account, and then from this drop down is all the groups that I created. So let's see if I have any that aren't mapped right now. Looks like they're all mapped. So what I can do here is I can select these. And this is something we'll do during implementation. These will all be unmapped. So we'll create those groups, and then we're going to come in here and assign them to different accounts. Now, we also have the ability to create new dimensions, which is what we see here, where these department subcategory, these are a way to allow us to further categorize our accounts. So it might be territory or department or branch. I can assign other values for ways that I want to see my information grouped. So I can select a whole row of accounts, and then I'll come up here to my department, and I can type whatever I want. It's a free form field. So I'll just type in incentive because I'm not creative. And I've updated those records. So I'll keep iterating through this till I've gone and I've categorized everything. And once that's been done, I'll go ahead and I'm going to save and then close. And the system notifies me, hey, you made a change to the database. A rebuild will occur. Do you wish to continue? And I'm going to say yes. And the database, I briefly mentioned Database Designer earlier. In the background, the Database Designer is rebuilding this database. And that's part of our secret sauce, is that when it's building, it's summarizing and indexing the data. So what does that mean? If I click on a button, I should get near instant results. And that is part of our secret sauce, is that it's so fast, it allows you to follow your train of thought. And because I can slice and dice in any direction I want, you'll see non-technical people really working with data. It really changes the way you work with data. And a lot of it, one, is because of the intuitiveness, and two, really, it's because of the speed. Because what used to be a really tedious, laborious exercise of exporting data, manipulating it, suddenly becomes engaging and interactive because the results are returning almost as fast as you can produce them. Okay. Let's show a few more things we can do on this screen. By default, it's a consolidated P&L. But if I want to look at just the US P&L, I can focus on it, come to my summary button, and now I have a P&L just for the US business. But maybe I want to see it differently. Maybe I want to see my different territories, branches. I want to see them side by side. So I'm going to select them and then hit matrix. And now I've turned my rows into columns. If I come back to my summary button, I'm now going to see a total consolidated P&L along with a US, Australian, and UK. And if I'd like, I can export this to Excel. And what's nice about that, it's going to maintain all of this formatting and grouping that we see here within the application. And it even brings in formulas. So if I wanted to use this for something else, I could extend it. All right. Now, maybe I don't want to see it side by side like this. I have other options. And notice this levels right here. I'm going to drag up country and drop it here. Now, if I expand sales, I'm going to see it by each location. And that's where these custom dimensions come in. If you recall, I created the department, the incentive. I tagged a few records on that. So I can drag that up. And now I will see the different departments by location. So I can really break it down. And notice my budget. Budgets are a very powerful thing in Phocas. I can create them in Excel and upload them in any of the databases. So I could have targets in my sales database, maybe rebate targets in my purchasing database. I can load a budget in any database. With our financial statements product, we're actually introducing the ability to create, assign, and publish a budget all from right within Phocas. All right. I think that's everything I wanted to cover today. Would really look forward to meeting with anybody that had any questions or wanted to know more. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Becky and let her tell us about Zumasys.
Hey, thank you, John. As always, I learn something new every time I see you demo that, so it never gets old. Well, I want to talk to you a little bit about the process that Zumasys has created to enable Phocas integration. And in my 35 plus years of experience, I found out a couple of things, and one is that people love MultiValue. The second thing I know is that users are very frustrated because getting data out of their MultiValue system is sometimes really difficult. They're kind of waiting on IT, which is, always backed up. Programmers have a lot to do. People are busy. So the lack of data is one thing that we hear over and over again. And this is why Phocas is such an interesting product for MultiValue, as John said. So what we did was we wanted to give users control of their data and allow them to answer questions on their own. So create their own ad hoc reporting and be able to get their data that they need when they need it. So we built our integration with the MV Connect and MVDB toolkit as the backbone. And what that does for us is enables RESTful services and creates a process for file I/O. So we wanted to be able to use this integration for companies who had IT staff and companies who don't have IT staff or people who are experts in the data. So we did it in two ways. we wanted to use the approach where we call black box, which is put this on your system. We'll get a map of all of your accounts, your files, and we'll build that map for you so you can look at it and see where does your data live, what does it look like. Or you can take the white box approach if you have people who are very intelligent about your application, your data, and they can tell this tool, go look in this account, look at these files, or look at these files and these attributes. And so we've tried to be very flexible with this tool so that we can, like I said, use it with people who are experts and people who are not. So the system analyzer piece of it will go in and do that work for you. It'll go look through your system, take a look at the accounts and files, and it will bring a map back that can be used by our extract process. So the map creation is also the same, black box or white box approach. You can tell the map creation process to go in and just map everything. And it's going to go look for those accounts and files and find out what value, what attributes are used. Are they multi-valued? Are those multi-values associated? Are there sub-values? And it's going to create these maps showing us where the data is. And then we can use that to extract the data. So those map objects are created with JSON. There's JSON objects. And if you're not familiar with JSON, it's just a format for explaining data. So we build some metadata, and then we use that metadata to extract the data and get it out to Phocas. So currently we're doing that in a flat file format. And then when we do this, we want to create a process that will pull your data when you need it to be refreshed and give it to Phocas so that they can refresh the database. So we set up a cron job or a Windows scheduler process or whatever to extract the data on a schedule so that you can get it when you need it. So we do this with our consulting services, and here's kind of the way we do it. So, we engage with you, try to find out what you're doing, what your pain points are, what you need, and then we put together a process, a plan, an implementation plan. And then we agree. Okay, Zumasys understands the process. We understand your pain points and what you're looking for, and Phocas also has that same understanding. So we make an agreement about what we're going to implement, and then we map the accounts and files and extract the data, give it to you to review, and then we send it to Phocas for loading and analysis. So this is a process that we can kind of repeat. So it's a loop that we would go through doing this remapping or extracting as we go through the process and make sure that we have all the data that you're looking for and that your reports and your data in Phocas is exactly what you're looking for. And remember, we're sending in transactional data, so we're not summing things up. This is going to be your one source of the truth. And when you look at your multi-value system versus Phocas, you'll get the exact same numbers that will not change. So your one source of the truth will be the same regardless of which system you're looking at. So once we get the mapping set up correctly and the extracts look good, then we hand it off to Phocas for them to build, and then we go through this process of the data refresh. So we can handle all of these things. For companies who don't have internal IT staff, we can help set these things up, show people how to use the tools and how to understand them so that, if you want to do your own extracts, then, you'll have the ability to do that. Or we can do it initially and then train your users or your IT staff how to use these tools. And then if you want additional data, you want to add something to your Phocas database, that's not a problem, and then you can do that. So we have a number of ways to engage there. We're happy to help you in any way that we can. We've been doing this just for the last few months and have helped several customers to date and have had great results. So thank you very much for the interest in this, and let us know how we can help you.
And thank you all for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it. We hope this has been a help to you. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out, sales@zumasys.com. And again, we thank Courtney, Becky, and John for presenting today. Thank you all, and take care.